Students, let's look at this question which was taken from the year 2020, paper 1 question 10 on DE, differential equations. This question is taken from the GCE A-level H2 math question. Okay, see how I can do this proficiently. So now you're given that the scientists are investigating the effect of a disease on the number of sheep on a small island. They discover that every year the death rate of the sheep is greater than the birth rate. So in other words, we say dp, right? The death rate will be dp dt out is bigger than dp dt in. Okay, so obviously is you have more death than birth, so it's actually a declining population. Now the difference every year between the death rate and the birth rate for the population of the sheep on the island is 3%. So meaning to say dp in minus out, okay, is 3%, or rather negative 3%. Now, but the problem with this is a bit, I'm not sure what is 3% of what, right? So we know that dp dt in minus dp dt out is negative 3%. So you're given that the number of sheep of the island is p at time t years after the scientists began observation. Write down a differential equation relating p and t. So, the problem with this statement here is that you do not know what is that 3% based on, okay? So actually, if you read it properly, it says that population of the sheep. So 3% likely, when you say there's a negative 3% in the net rate, right? It just means that negative 3% of the population of the sheep. That's the most logical way of thinking it, right? So in this case here, so hence we know that dp dt is in minus out, but this will be negative 3% of p. Okay, you can see it as negative 3% of p. Every year you just minus 3% of the population. So this case here is dp dt. You can write this down, the de with dp dt, which is negative 0.03 p. Okay, so this is how you actually understand the first part here. Any question at all, please let me know. So let's look at the second part. Second part, we are given that solve the DE to find an expression for P in terms of T. Explain what happens to the number of sheep if the situation continues over many years. So for part 2, what we need here is actually just, I'm going to just move the P over, just to solve this D. This is in a separable form, right? Meaning you can actually separate the dp and the function of the expression of P on one side and dt on the other side. So this case, we want P dp equals to negative 0.03, just integrate it, and we get ln p equals to negative 0.03t plus c. So in this case here, p is equals to e minus 0.03t plus c plus minus, and we get p equals to a e minus 0.03t. Okay, yeah, solve this differential equation to find the expression of p in terms. Okay, so this is it. I'm going to let a is equals to plus minus e to the power c. So this is now as t goes to infinity, obviously p e, because now we are asked what will happen to it when it becomes very big, right? So e to the power of a negative number here, negative infinity will just be 0. It tends to 0. So in other words, the population will just tend to a times 0, which is actually 0. So hence the sheep, if the over many years, so the number of sheep, the population of sheep will drop down to the population of sheep will drop to 0 over many years. Okay, this is how you understand this part here. I think that's pretty okay for part 2. So let's look at part 3. The scientists import sheep at a uniform rate of n sheep per year. The difference every year between the death rate and birth rate remain the same at 3%. Write down the differential equation to the new model. So that's pretty okay, because now for part 3, you know that the overall rate is actually minus 0.03, right? P here, 3% of P. then the scientist starts to import sheep at a constant rate uniform with n sheep per year. So I'm going to put n because now you have, this is a constant rate here. You just add in n sheep per year every year, then after which you just minus off the net birth death rate, right? So this is in and this is out. Write down the DE to model this new situation. So this is it. This is still a separable model. So this is part 3, right? This is it. So let's look at part 4. Solve the DE to find the expression P in terms of T and N. So I think that's pretty okay. So this is still a separable form. So it's n minus 0.03p dp equals to 1 dt. I'm just going to integrate this part here. So this will be ln n minus 0.03p. Now remember, this is a coefficient of p. So please remember to divide by minus 0.03 equals to t plus c. Okay, so solving this would give us negative 0.03t plus negative. And that will be a ln n minus 0.03p. It's okay. Then after which we're going to be like n minus 0.03p equals to e minus 0.03t minus 0.03c. Okay, maybe I'll just put an a there. The a would just be plus minus e negative 0.03c. Okay, that's about it. So this case here, what would I need? I need p, so it's n minus a e negative 0.03t, and this will just be, maybe this is a1 because I already used a in the first part, so 0.003, that's pretty okay. And this is p equals to 0.1 over 0.03. That will be 100 over 3n minus b. This is actually a b, like still a constant, right? So where b is equals to a1, it's still a constant, so we don't really care. We just let it be this. So this is the expression here. I think that's pretty okay. So part 5. Now this could also be a positive number. It doesn't really matter. So I'm just going to put this as plus, minus. Okay. So let's put part 5. Part 5. Given that the number of sheep settles down to 500 after many years, so meaning to say as t goes to infinity, we know that p would tend to 500. Okay. So we just substitute it in now. So when t goes to infinity, we know that e minus 0.03t will go to 0. This is definitely 0, not an issue. So in other words here, this will be 500. Just sub into this expression here. 100 over 3n plus b times 0. There's a constant there. So this is n. So it's quite okay. N equals to 15. I think this question overall is quite doable if you look through after the first part, which is the percentage part is a bit ambiguous. But when it says 3%, the first thing that comes to my mind is always what is 3% or 3% of what? So I would say it's 3% of the population. So that's how I do this question here proficiently. Any question at all, please let us know. Keep practicing. I'll see you in the next question.